up and sit down.
Welcome to the Square Read Podcast, everybody. Today is going to be a little bit of a truncated one because most of you we're going to be discussing next week's show, the fundraiser for Sergeant
Patrick Carrier.
Patrick Carrier from Dupo PD. He was shot in the line of duty. So the show coming up is all about a fundraiser to help him with his medical bills and help him with his family.
Yeah, I'll have to correct you for a second, though. You said next week's show. It's actually this week's show. So it's this Saturday, June 3rd, at the Belleville Fairgrounds, the home of SICW nowadays. Yeah, so it is a fundraiser. You know, it's a great cause. The sergeant got shot on the line of duty, and thank God he survived. I'm sure Nate, you know, he'll put the interview that Herb Simmons did with the sergeant's wife in there, and maybe the sergeant.
SICW brings you the Purple Haze with Kevin Sullivan versus Flash Flanagan inside the Steel Cage, a battle behind bars. Wrestling fundraiser for wounded Dupo Police Sergeant Pat Carrier. Saturday, June 3rd, Belleville, Illinois. Bell time 7 p.m. It's a battle behind bar in a steel cage main event. Get your tickets now. Don't miss it. The SICW Battle Behind Bar. Get your tickets now at SICW.org.
Carrier of the Dupo Police Department told you just a brief overview of that terrible day on February the 26th where he was actually shot in the line of duty, and I just kind of gave you a little synopsis of what's going on in his life right now since that terrible day. And today I thought it would be just good and fitting to introduce you to his better half, Donna. Donna, I'm glad that you could take a few moments out today just to kind of let our viewers that we're going to be asking to help in this situation what it meant on that day, February the 26th, when you started getting those calls. Can you kind of just tell them what happened?
Well, like he said, he had came home for lunch. He had been here about 30 minutes. He had only been gone from the house maybe 15. And I got a phone call from my mom saying, "Are you at home?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Are you alone?" And I said, "Yeah." "Why?" She said, I'm getting calls from people in Dupo that there's a Dupo officer that's been shot." And I'm like, well, it can't be him. He just left here. And then I thought, wait, it's Sunday. There's only one of them on duty. It's got to be him. So I said, I got to go. I dropped everything, grabbed my bag, out the door I ran, got on the phone with all three of our daughters. And I said, fan out, follow the police cars, follow ambulances, just fan out all three of you and tell me where to go, because we didn't know where it was. And I came over the Dupo Bridge, looked to the left, and it was complete. It was nothing I'd ever seen. It looked like a massacre had occurred. I've never seen so many police cars in my life. And I got to the bottom of the bridge. I turned right in front of the subway, got out of the car, and I just ran. I ran as far as the police would let me run. And all I could hear them saying was, there was someone shot and someone dead, and you can't go down there. So I didn't know which one, if he was shot, dead. So I turn around, start running back the other way, and then I see my youngest sister and her husband running towards me. And they're yelling, it's Pat, it's Pat. So probably for the next hour, I don't remember anything. I don't remember the drive to the hospital. The only thing I remember is getting into the room, the trauma room, when they were getting ready to take him to surgery, and they said, you've got about 1 minute to say what you want to say. He says that I asked, why did he shoot you? I don't remember asking that, but in my mind, I'm thinking it's a nice Sunday afternoon. Who's out shooting people? Like, it just didn't make any sense to me. And probably 3 a.m, maybe, I got to see him for the first time then. They had him intubated, which was terrifying. I had a chaplain and Chief Plew took me in together because I fell apart. Then they brought the daughters in. They fell apart. And we stayed. I basically lived there for the first 3 days until we knew that he was out of the woods at least. So, but that night we had officers there from St. Louis City, County. Some had been on duty all day, worked 12 hours, and stayed until the next morning. It was crazy.
Well, and that just, if you just think back in your mind what you just heard Donna mention, that she, in just a moment, she had to see her husband before they were taking him to surgery. Hadn't seen him since he left home from lunch that afternoon. And then the terrible thing happens, and then when she gets to the hospital, she only has 1 minute to go in there and be with him. And that can happen to anybody that's in our law enforcement profession. And I know I keep saying that over and over, but I think sometimes our men and women who put that badge on every day don't get the respect or the thoughts that they should. And I just when you said that, just that quick, it happens. If something would have went wrong in surgery, you had 1 minute to spend with him.
Yeah.
She's at home that afternoon, cooks him lunch, leaves. She has no thought of anything like that going to happen. The 3 daughters, they're out running around trying to find out where it's at, and then she's there for an hour before she gets the information. And of course that's natural because it was a very, very active crime scene. And not just one, but there was multiple crime scenes there that day. But so I tell you that just to let you know what Donna has went through, what the family has went through on this journey that I keep talking about. From the first time I think I talked with you after a few days, and Chief Plew and I had talked, and I knew we wanted to help and get involved. I told you then it was going to be a long journey, and that we were going to do everything we could to make sure you're not on that journey by yourself. And that's what we're doing here today. And each and every one of you that are watching this, I hope there's a lot of yous out there, you'll share it, especially throughout St. Clair County, Madison County, over into St. Louis, because just like that day, there were police officers that showed up from Missouri. They came from Edwardsville. They came from all over when that call went out. And that's not going to be the last time that happens. We wished it was, but we have to be able to help our men and women in our law enforcement and our EMS, our firefighters, when the need comes. We wish it would never, ever, ever happen again, but it's just, we know it will. But as long as each and every one of you know that now is the time to step up and help support this fundraiser. It's going to be on June the 3rd at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds in Belleville, Illinois. We want to raise a lot of funds to help the family because Sergeant Carrier is going to have some rehab he's got to go through. May not get his use of his arm back to 100%. Hopefully he does. But the mental strain that this puts on not only him but his wife, his family, is going to be just something they have to deal with, and they shouldn't have to be worried about any other things until they can get their lives put back together. Because I'm sure it's been a rocky road.
It's been awful.
Yeah, and it's
horrible.
put it mildly, I'll bet.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. You've heard from Donna, and we're going to be talking to a few of the other family members as we approach that big day, June 3rd. Like we said earlier, it will be fun. Bring the kids out. bring the family out. There'll be a lot more information coming out about this over the next couple of weeks. We have formed a committee of local police departments. The fire departments are helping out. We want to make this a big event to where Sergeant Carrier doesn't have to worry about some of those trivial things right now. We want him to concentrate on getting better. We want him to get healed up, because when he heals up, the family will heal up, and they can get back to some sense of normal life that they were used to before that February 26th date. So you stay tuned to SICW or to my page. They tell me I'm the easiest guy to find on Facebook, and we will keep you informed as this journey takes up, leading to June 3rd. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so what I'm getting at is this fundraiser is going to be pretty good. It's going to be like about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. Time flies so fast, but we did one for Chief, what was it, LaPont?
Yeah.
I think it was his last name.
LaPont.
L. LaPont. And he was a firefighter, and they were able to get a lot of money raised for him. And that was on the fireman side. So this time we're asking the police to step up and actually help with this fundraiser. And when I'm getting some information in here and there, they're going to have a lot of the different departments, police cars, kind of lined up outside. Now, when we did it for the firemen, they actually brought in 2 fire trucks into the building, and kind of lined them up where we walked right between the 2 to get to the ring. Now, I don't think they're gonna have the cop cars inside the building this time, from what I'm getting at.
I believe there was a emergency vehicle display Herbert posted.
Well, yeah, there is going to be a display, but I think it's going to be outside this time.
Oh, okay.
Where that overhang is on the outside,
Mhm.
like you're going to the racetrack. That overhang, I think all the not fire departments, all the police departments are gonna like have one of their special cars, lined up there. Um, so that way the kids can come out and see all the cop cars. I don't know if they'll be handing out anything, like candy or anything like that to the kids, but that's gonna be kind of cool. The police cars are gonna be out there. I'm sure they'll have their sirens. I'm sure they'll say some stuff over the speakers, but so it definitely be cool. Um, and it's a fundraiser for not a great organization, but for a great person. So definitely come on out. It's kind of like uh, an extra show for us, because we're still going to be there the following week, which is June 10th. But this one's just an extra show for us, and everything. All the wrestlers. The great thing about SICW is all the wrestlers are going to be on this card. We're actually donating the money that we get for wrestling to this gentleman as well. So everything, I'm sure they're probably going to have a silent auction, because they did that for the firemen as well. But yeah, come on in, bring your kids. It's going to be a great show. I got the cards lined up here. Not that it's going to be in this order that we talk about, but it's
And always
and,
subject to change.
yeah. So the card is always subject to change, but we already know the main event. We'll get to that one a little bit later. But some of the matches we can go through and see who your pick is. Be interested to get Nathan's pick for these as well, just to see if you picked up on anything since you've been watching the shows lately, and you've been so up and close to the shows.
Now we're gonna have to record it. Well, I mean, I guess we are recording, but like write it down, and on next week's show, see how many he got right.
There we go. I like that. All
I
right,
ain't scared.
you ain't scared. All right. Like I said, I don't know about the order, but this is just what I got. We got Glenn Williams versus Brandon Beretta. What do you guys think about that one?
I'm
Battle of the
going
Midgets.
Beretta. Glenn just, I mean, FanFest could have been a setup for Glenn getting his second win ever in FICW, but no, I just don't see it coming.
I'm tired of hearing Glenn talk, so I can't wait to see Brandon Breda shut him up. That's all. I'm going to be happy to watch that one.
Well,
And one sec, Jim. And for people keep asking me, where's the Top Guns match with Waco and Glenn Williams on the Fan Fest? Because of the amount of heat that was in that room, and I was using an Image Pro card instead of an Extreme Pro card. I didn't think I would need a heat resistant card.
In
That
an air
match,
conditioned building.
yeah, that match and two others were corrupted in the file. So I've been trying to get angles from people that I've been able to contact that were at that show, and I have a few that are just really bad angles. So I have to try and do something. So you guys keep asking, and I keep telling you it's just not there because the aviator kind of screwed us on it.
I don't know. I mean, I was so cold in that room. I had to go upstairs and get a sweater. At one point, it was just so cold.
I'm going to have to
Well,
get my boots on. This is getting a little deep in here.
you got ice water for blood. It was like that
Yeah.
chair hit didn't hurt.
Well, anyone who wasn't there, it seemed like, well, it didn't seem like one of the people working that show, and not, one of our guys working the event, one of the people at the Aviator Hotel thought they turned the AC on, but evidently only turned the fan on. And, with over 400, 500 people in that one room, it got extremely hot. I mean, it was so hot that people went outside to cool off. And it was a very hot day.
And humid. It was raining off and on, so it was hot and humid. And people have come into my place of business and that were there and said they were puked on by people because they were getting dehydrated. People were almost passing out where they had to get up and go outside.
I have a friend, Michael, that was there. He got puked on, but I think the guy was just drunk behind him. He's told the story a few times, so it's a good story.
It's a funny story.
Well, we'll just say that he got drunk then. I mean, it wasn't too bad. I did step outside a couple times, and a couple of those times I was outside with Enzio or Nunzo or Enzo. And then I was out there once with Victoria. We were just kind of shooting the shit while we were out there trying to catch a breath of fresh air. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. I mean, it was a great night, great day. But I'm going to throw in my pick too. I'm going to side with you guys. I think Beretta is going to take this. And I say this because we don't we don't talk about new breed wrestling a lot here. We kind of brought them up a couple times because they were a co-sponsor of the Fan Fest and the wrestling show. And their title was on the line that night. But a lot of people, if they don't pay attention to New Breed, they might not know that the Top Guns, Brandon and Joey, they've been going down to New Breed too. And twice now they've gotten matches where they were going against Attila and Sheik Prater. And this past weekend they had another one of those matches. It was actually 4 tag teams in one match. It was the Top Guns, it was Attila and Prater, and there was 2 other tag teams in the same match. And just like a couple months prior when they wrestled each other, Top Guns and Attila and Prater, they just end up fighting around the ring and fighting to the back. They got actually counted out this past weekend because both teams just fought on the outside Uh, the way it was set up this weekend, if one team member got pinned, that whole team left the match. And both of them were actually in the match and went outside, and both of them got counted out. So both tag teams were actually fighting on the outside, and they both basically got eliminated. Um, I'm not too sure who actually won that match, but it wasn't the Top Guns, and it wasn't Attila and Prater. But the point I'm getting at is they've been fighting, Attila, and they've been fighting Prater a lot now. I think this is the second or third time in New Breed alone that they wrestled those guys. So just like I said, just hit the point. They're used to, doing whatever it takes to fight back. Especially when it comes to those two guys, Attila and Prater. They'll do anything they can. They, almost like Eddie Guerrero, lie, cheat, and steal to win. And for the Top Guns to go against them and hang with them, to me, it shows a lot. And, that's because I had to hang out with Attila and Shriek Prater and everyone else over the last year or so. So I know what it takes, and it's kind of cool seeing that come out of a new tag team being the Top Guns.
That, and I
Yeah,
think
so
the Astonishing won one of their belts also this last weekend, didn't
yeah, I think they have a belt called the Pop Icon Championship. It's a little weird. I don't know where they get the name from, but I think he won that belt because I want to say that the Dr. Isaac, which was their champion, still is their champion. I think he won his match, so I think he's still the heavyweight champion over there. So I think Austin won the Pop Icon belt. I want to say that's the name of it, Pop Icon, or Popcorn Champion, or it's something. It's a little different, but
he? Yeah,
I
it's
think that's the one he won.
although with Beretta and Glenn Williams match, we might have a Canadian kamikaze come in and interfere though.
That's true. So that, I mean, Glenn Williams is part of that whole little clique there with Sean Vincent and the intern. So there's actually two more matches that involve them. So you never know what kind of combination you're going to get. And one of them, deals with our own Bobby D too. And we might as well just say it. You got the intern this weekend. Big guy. I know he's over 300 pounds. I know he doesn't talk. I know he's just a brute. So, Bobby, what are you going to do this weekend to kind of handle him and get one over?
Another delayed
Anytime,
suplex.
anytime I get a chance to mess up Team Canada over there, I'm happy. Uh, like you said, he's a big guy. Fortunately for me, he's a dumb guy. So there's a lot of mistakes in his game that I think I can exploit, counter wrestle him, and put him on the ground. And when he's laying on his back, he's the same size as everybody else.
I think Sean reached out and picked up Glenn Williams before he was done building up the intern. So I think, not that I would call the intern done. I think he has not finished his training per se.
I think he
For
gets too much of that seeing red and just goes forward and forward and forward and doesn't think about the next 2, 3, 4 moves.
I agree, but like I'm saying is, I think Sean thought he was ready before he's actually been ready, and he's picked up another little stooge in Glenn Williams, and that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that I don't think Sean taught him everything he needed to or wanted to before he picked up another stooge. Um, so yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think if you can outsmart him, just like any big guy, if you can outrun them and outsmart them, you're pretty much set in a guaranteed win. But just to play devil's advocate, you do have Sean and you do have Glenn that you might have to deal with during that match.
Almost definitely. I've dealt with Sean long enough to know that it's never one-on-one.
I think overall wrestling you'll win, but you might lose by default because of interference.
Again, I know he's a big, strong guy, and I do got to watch that if he gets his hands on me. But I'll just make sure I'll do my best to make sure he doesn't get his hands on me.
The Three Stooges are going to come out and interfere, and you might get counted out being outside of the ring, dealing with them.
Nothing's happening with them too.
I hope you do get the best of them because, if you can take care of the intern and then I don't know what matches are the following week, but if you happen to have Glenn Williams, if you can knock out those Little Stooges, you can work yourself back up to hopefully a rematch. I mean, we know we saw you lose to Sean at the show, the big show, but you kind of got a little bit of sweet revenge at the end because
Yeah.
In the Bruiser Brody, you were him over, got down to you last two, and you were able to get. You're the first time back to back and 2-time winner of the Bruiser Brody Cup. So, there's a little bit of sweet revenge, but I know you would still want your title.
Oh, definitely want my title back. I'll
Right,
get back.
so,
I ain't done. I'll get back there.
So as long as nobody interferes, I give it to you, Bobby. But if 3 against 1 is a lot.
It is a lot, but I'll take him out.
There you go. So we might also go with the third one. The third one, Sean Vincent does have Night Train Gary Jackson. He's putting that belt on the line.
Night Train Gary Jackson, a former Central States champion.
He was the first Central States champion. So, man, I kind of got to give it to Gary, but, the champion, and I'm going to say this, even though I have a match on that night, the champion, there's a lot of outs for the champion, because if they get counted out, they retain the belt. Disqualification, they retain the belt. So the champion's got to get pinned or submit.
I think Gary wins, but doesn't win the belt.
Oh, so you're thinking DQ?
Yeah. I'm thinking, Canada keeps the belt, but Gary wins the match.
Well, if Sean doesn't come out and help intern, and they both don't come out and help Glenn, I'm wondering if they would both go out and help Sean. Because normally you got to help each other. So I don't like Sean. Sean's just a little arrogant.
You're more talking a group of people that respect each other and have each other's back. I don't feel like that's what that group is. I feel it's like Sean is like that dictator of them. You come out and help me. I don't care about helping you.
And that might not, I don't know. Eventually, if it's like that, eventually if it keeps going on like that, one of them is going to turn on Sean. But, that, I don't know. But
don't forget, Vincent's also got that damn loaded boot that he has up his sleeve. I freaking took that boot last month. It feels like a baseball bat.
Just because Sean's the champion, I'm going to go with Sean on it. Just because I know he's got to be beat or submitted. And I think he's too much of a squirrely guy to get submitted. And I think he will lose count out or DQ to retain that title. As much as I would love Gary, Gary's always great tag team partner to me. And we actually won the straps together once. He's got to be on his A game if he's going to get that belt from him. You know, pull Sean into the middle of the ring, get that pin count right there, or be able to catch him and put him in a submission. You know, something like his Texas Clover leaf for the Las Vegas leg drop. Not leg drop, but death drop, ain't it? Las Vegas death drop. Leg lock. You know, if he can get one of those on there and get that guy to squeal, that would be great.
I want him to keep the belt so Bobby can take it away from him.
We'll see, and that's where I was going with it. Is my pick is Gary. I think Gary can do it, but I'm rooting for Sean Vincent, believe it or not, because if Gary wins it, that just pushes me farther down the line, because then Vincent's going to get his rematches and whatnot. So I want Vincent to keep it so I can take it from him quicker.
There you go. Yeah, it's man.
Yeah, mark that one down,
I
Jim.
say Vincent, but I don't know. I don't know who I want to win. I mean, I kind of feel for you, so I want Sean to win, so you got a shot back at him. But I would like Gary to win it too. That would be great. So who knows? Joel Vanetti, the other part of Top Gun, he's got Axe Allwart as an opponent that night. You know, Axe is a throwback to the '80s wrestling style.
Toxic masculinity.
You know, I wonder what happened to that group. You don't see that group. Well, at least we haven't seen him. I know his partner.
They got woke.
I think he does MMA as well. Or
He does a lot of jiu-jitsu, he's told me about.
Okay, so I wonder if he's just taking a break from wrestling and just focusing. Maybe he's got a match coming up. I know a lot of guys who switch back and forth. They'll take a break for like 3 months or so if they got a jiu-jitsu match or some sort of MNWA. And oh my goodness,
That's way back.
MMA. Woo. Can't believe I slept like that.
Well, Axe still oozes enough toxic masculinity for both of them, so. But in a great way. Like, if you're not a fan, guys, you need to go on his Facebook page because great posts.
He would be a great person to come on if you guys want to listen to it.
Oh, I would listen to it because I agree with most of the stuff he says.
Oh my goodness. So he's got Joey.
For that match, love Joey to death, but he's still green. Awfully green.
He is green, and I feel like he relies on Brandon Beretta a lot, and he doesn't have Brandon Beretta in this match, so I got to pick X.
And I think I'm going Axe also, just because Joey is just not enough experience on his own.
I think X is going to pick him up like a lawn dart and just chuck him.
Oh my God! All right, so I'm going to go with Joey. I'm going to go with Joey because Joey comes down to the Ace Academy a lot. You hear it in Brandon and his promos about how they're always down there every week putting in the work, and I see it that they do put in the work. And I have a couple opportunities with Joey prior to this Saturday, so I'm hoping that we can, maybe watch some matches of Axe. I fought Axe a bunch of times, so I can give him a little bit of experience. I think if Joey can be focused, I think Joey has it in him to pull one out. So I'm shooting for my kid. I'm shooting for Joey on this one.
Well, I hope I'm wrong, but I got to stick to. My first inclination was Joey's still awfully green for individual matches. So
I can't
of course,
deny
I'm
that
not
he's
there
green.
on Tuesday yet, so.
Like I said, I can't deny he's green. He is green. But sometimes it's those new guys that surprises you.
Yeah, that's cool.
We'll see. I'm hoping for the best. This next match is a match that we've seen a lot of, but it's Curtis Wilde versus Kowalski. Now, those two used to be a tag team, or kind of. Kowalski was Curtis's hired gun, I guess you would say.
Yeah, as
He was his
enforcer, I believe he
bodyguard.
called him.
What do you call
Enforcer.
him? Enforcer. So, that was back when Curtis was having heel tendencies. But since then Curtis has turned a new leaf and it's kind of gone straight and narrow. And since then, Kowalski's like, "Well, I ain't coming with you," and so they've been kind of going back and forth and had a couple matches already. Excuse me.
Yeah, Curtis went from volatile to just straight bipolar.
Well, sure. Uh, Kowalski, man, he is, over 400 pounds. They did that body slam challenge with him. I don't think anyone ever won that challenge, to be
I don't
honest.
think so.
Um,
I think Danny
but
Dollar was close, but I don't think he ever got it.
yeah, I don't know if there's like some sort of stipulation that he didn't meet, like had to be during a match, and I think he was able to pull it off when the match was already over, or maybe the match didn't begin yet. So I don't think Kowalski ever lost that. And Curtis, Curtis is like a third of Kowalski's weight. So, I know Curtis has turned a new leaf, and I know Curtis is actually going to tag with me the following week, because the following the main event is going to be me, Curtis, and Gary Jackson versus the LA Hustlers and Kowalski. So it's just, but man, I'm a big guy. I don't know if that leans me towards Kowalski, but I'm kind of leaning towards Kowalski on this. I just think Kowalski would come in there, Hulk smash, and kill him. I don't know what your guys' takes on it, but I don't. Let me hear it. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Nate. I'll give mine last here.
This one's difficult. Just taking in all factors, not just wrestling factors. I don't know if Curtis has the stamina for this one. Kowalski's not limber. He's not, he's not going to run a lot, but he is big. I don't know if he can move that boulder very far.
See,
I gotta lean towards Kowalski. Just other factors besides just wrestling coming into play.
I have mixed it up with Kowalski a lot over the past year. and you're not wrong. He's a big guy, and he moves. I always compare him to like a Bam Bam Bigelow of today. Like, I'm sure that guy could do a damn cartwheel out there in the ring if he wanted to. Like, as
Wow.
big as he is agile, he is fast, he is strong. But you said he's going to smash Curtis, and I don't see that. Like, you really have to put Curtis down. That man always finds a new gear somehow and gets going and going and going. And I think he'll somehow figure out a way to slip one past.
I'm always reminded whenever a small person versus a big guy, David and Goliath. Except for everyone talks about Goliath being this big, guy who was just standing there and got the rock shot into his head or was his eye or something.
Yeah.
And that's what got him to collapse. Like you said, Kowalski can move. He can stick and move. So I don't see the whole David versus Goliath. I just see Hulk smash. I mean, we'll see. I mean, more power to Curtis if he can, because the following week I'm tagging with Curtis. So I hope Curtis is still alive and around to tag with me and Gary, because otherwise, those three versus just me and Gary, that's and they're two big guys because one half of LA Hustlers is a huge 300-pounder as well.
Oh
So
yeah.
you got him and you got Kowalski on one side. So yeah. I mean, I hope Curtis can go in there and get the job done. And maybe I'll have some new respect for him if he does. It's just I've been in the ring with Kowalski as well, and he's one big guy, and he can stick and move. So we'll see how that works.
Kowalski gave me a tornado DDT off the ropes once. If that doesn't tell you how agile he can be, I don't know what's going to.
I need to try and find the video of that.
Yeah.
It was when I won the title from him.
Well, he also does that Vader time splash in the corner too, where he bounces off the ropes and gets flat and then is able to pounce on you basically.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many times Curtis can take that if he ever gets in that position.
I'm gonna guess once.
And
Well,
that alone was determination for me leaning towards Kowalski. It's just
But
how
you
many
got to
bumps
keep
can he
him
take
down
that
there
match?
for a minute. You're gonna have to keep Curtis down. It's hard to keep Curtis down.
Yeah.
And he's got
He
his
is
number
hard.
one ninja out there that can pull him out.
well, I don't know if she's going to be out there because if you guys pay attention
Oh,
to
that's right. That's right.
their Facebook account, she just had back surgery. So not that she couldn't go out, but there's no sense of her going out and
It would not
possibly,
be safe. She definitely shouldn't.
yes.
Yeah, no.
So he's going to be on his own. And
But
that
also
might,
for anyone watching, they've also posted updates. She seems to be healing well.
but what I'm saying that might screw him up as well because he's used to having that cheerleader, cheering him on throughout the match and firing him up
Yeah,
when he's down and out. He ain't going to have that cheerleader.
it's true.
So I mean, that could be a little mind warp for him because he might be. Well, she's not cheering yet, so I don't need to fire up. Well, she ain't gonna be the cheerer, so he just might screw with him a little bit. Next match, it's one that I'm in. It'll be my first title defense of the big gold belt here. I'm taking on the hired gun, Joe Helms. I fought Joe Helms periodically throughout the past year. He's always a tough man to fight. He's an ex arena football player. So he's definitely used to beating up on big guys, But
Yeah, but so are you.
and that's what I'm going to say. I've so far been able to conquer him. And my last belt, not the big gold, but the Shriners belt that I won by defeating Joe Helms. So it's not taking anything away from him. I know it's going to be a battle because it's always a battle when I wrestle him. But I just won this, and there ain't no way I'm putting my shoulders on the mat and losing it so quickly. So I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to be the same outcome as it was for the Shriners belt. I'm just going to, take him down, take him out of the ring. I have to beat on him some more, throw him back in the ring, and give him a lariat. And I'm very well confident that my first title defense, I'll be retaining the big gold belt. What's your guys' opinions?
Joe Helms.
Oh, you want me to go first, Bobby, or you?
I said Joe Helms. That's good.
Oh,
No,
damn.
no. My dad actually, when that match was announced, messaged him and told him good luck. But
That is awesome.
I think you've been chasing that title for a while now, and I'm gonna guess your adrenaline's still high, and you're gonna land a lariat or two, whatever it takes.
Go ahead, Nate. I'll let you speak before I get back
Big
at
Joe
it.
Helms is a member of the cadre of evil there in SICW, but at the Fan Fest, he had a falling out with the LA Hustlers and Lucky Pete. He's used to having people coming to his aid. He's not going to get it this time. So it's just going to be you and him, and he's going to lose. He's not going to have the help he's going to expect to try and take advantage and put you on the map. He's not going to get it.
Well, I agree with both of you. So that was
This
I would
one's
hate to
unique.
come across the screen and yank you into my room, but good job, guys. I agree with both of you.
He might make you bleed, though.
And that I don't doubt. I mean, we've had some wars. Like I said, the Shriners match. I mean, SICW just re-aired that match this past week, and you can just see the back. To be honest, if you look at that match that aired this past weekend, he clearly had the first half of that match, maybe 3/4 of that match. But it's one of those things where I was able to see what he was able to do, and then I was able to reverse it and go on the attack. And now that I've seen him in multiple matches, um, I think I got his card. So I have no doubt in my mind that I'm going to retain my belt. Because I tell you what, the worst thing you can be is a champion that's a flash in the pan. The worst thing, I mean, yes, it's such a great honor to reach the pinnacle of being a champion, but you are not remembered, or at least you're not remembered for the right reasons, if you win the belt and then you turn around and lose it. Those that are remembered are the ones that are able to carry that belt through thick and thin, through a year, through 2 years. Roman Reigns just reached 1,000 days. Whether you hate Roman or you like Roman Reigns, those kind of numbers that he's able to put up has not been that way since the Hulk Hogan era, or the guys that came before him, which are escaping my mind for some strange reason.
Bruno Sammartino was the big one.
Yes, he was the one that had held it the longest, and then there was one other guy, and
Backlund
he's
had it for a while.
Bob Backlund. The good little farmer boy. That's what everyone ever called him.
Hey, his memory's on point, and you're losing yours.
Well,
Bob
I
Backlund
met
was
up
a
with
bit
Bobby
aggressive.
earlier. I met up with Bobby earlier. We were swimming. It's Memorial Day weekend. I stayed a little longer than he was, so I'm a little bit more tired. I'll say that.
I got a little bit of sun though. You can probably see my picture looks red.
So we'll just go off of that. But anyway, so I'm not going to be a flash in the pan, one and done. My goal is to not drop this title for the longest period. I don't know what's the longest period in SICW's history, but that's something that I'm going to find out, and I'm going to conquer that. That's going to be my goal. So I'll have to knock these guys off, and be the longest title classic champion in SICW's history. That'll be my goal. But even though a bigger match is that, my first title defense, putting the big gold belt on the line, there's one match that's even going to stop me, and that's because it's in a cage, and that's because this is a feud that's been going on prior to SICW. I mean, this is going back to OVW days. This is going back to Southern Independent promotions. It seems like they've always crossed paths, and it's never been settled. And this time, I think they're going to be able to settle it in a cage. And I'm just talking about Flash Flan versus Purple Haze, Andrew Anderson. And of course, Andrew Anderson's got a person in his corner with Kevin Sullivan. Everyone knows Kevin Sullivan with the Golden Spike. Everyone knows, Anderson tried to set Flash Flanagan on fire the last time they wrestled each other. That's just that's just crazy. I've as much as I dislike a Joe Helms or dislike an Attila Khan, you'll never see me carry a gallon of gasoline to the ring and douse them with it and try to light a match. To me, there's going too far, and then there's going further. And I think when I talk about this match, I'm thinking, Mick Foley and Terry Funk in the classic death matches in Japan, where they had barbed wire ropes and bombs that exploded in the ring.
Still didn't set each other on fire.
Well, Terry Funk, he would carry that branding iron and set it on fire and try to get you with it. But again, he never doused his opponent with gasoline and try to set him on fire. What's your guys' take on this? Because, this is the main event this night. This is what's going to, I know it's going to pack the house. I would love to say my first title defense is what's going to bring everyone in. But this is no joke. You got to
You can get credit for the next week. You can get credit for the next week.
So what do you guys think? Who do you guys got?
I don't know, man. That's a tough one. Like, the brutality that these two are going to bring to each other is going to be virtually unheard of. But with Kevin and I really want Flash, because he's our guy. He's SICW.
Right.
But man, with Kevin Sullivan, even with the cage keeping Kevin out, he's still going to be in.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I have to go, just because of the Kevin Sullivan factor, I got to go Purple Haze.
Mr. Nathan, what do you think?
I love Flash to death. Hang out with his puppy and his wife all the time when he's wrestling, but I don't know. I know Kevin's going to try and climb the cage and get in there, and then at that point, better have plastic in the front row.
See, I don't know if he'll try to climb in there. I think Kevin's more of a puppet master. I think he'll do stuff from the outside. Now, and that's what I was just thinking, that is something that could help Flash. I could see Kevin grabbing a chair or even Flash's kendo stick and giving it in there to the Purple Haze, and then Flash getting a hold of it. That could help him.
And the spike. Flash to get a hold of the spike. I'm still going to edge for Flash, just because it's supposed to be his redemption, so I want to see him get it.
I'm hoping it's true, but I'm still going with Purple Haze.
Now,
Okay, you're the tiebreaker, Jim. What you got?
Well, I'm kind of with Bobby here. Now, for one, I hung out with Kevin Sullivan that night after the show, and I hung out with Purple Haze. Wasn't one of my brighter days. We just happened to be at the same bar. And Kevin Sullivan, I don't know if he was trying to get me under his wing or not, but Kevin was talking to me. And just seeing Purple Haze outside of the ring, there's no difference between him being in the ring and being outside the ring in a public setting. There's no difference. Some people will say, well, like we'll put Bruiser Brody. His wife in every interview would tell you when he was set to wrestle, he would switch his mind and body, and he would go straight into the Brody gimmick. But when he was not involved in wrestling, like he was taking a break, he was home, he was with his kid, his wife. He was a lovable husband, lovable father, and that's what I'm getting at. Purple Haze was the same guy that night at the bar that he was beating the crap out of Flash trying to set him on fire. He is that crazy because at the bar, you knew where he was at the bar. And this is a pretty big bar we were at because we didn't come together. But he's crazy. And the manipulations that Kevin Sullivan can do, I just think that makes him even crazier. Because you can be really messed up in the head, but if someone can actually read your mind and get it to manipulate you somehow, then you become even crazier. And I think Flash is going to have a problem. When he tried to set Flash on fire, that was even after the match was DQ'd. And if you look at that match, Anderson was busted open, halfway during that match, and it didn't matter to him. It's like he feasted on the fact that he knew he was bleeding. Like he was, like he wanted it, So I think, man, I mean, I love Flash to death too. He's been a great guy. I almost took the big gold off of him when I wrestled him last, when he was the champion. We had a great match, but Attila was the one that interfered in our match, and that's what cost me the championship at that point. But man, I think it's definitely a 2 against 1. But when you got 2 crazies going against you, Flash has got to psych himself up and get even crazier. I mean, that's the only real way I see Flash winning it, is if Flash does something to get his adrenaline pumped up and maybe go back to Flash back in Puerto Rico. Nate, you put in some film before with Flash in Puerto Rico. I mean, that guy was crazy, jumping off the fucking balconies,
and missing
onto tables.
You missed and popped back up.
And
That
pop
wasn't
back
a
up.
small drop, and it was on the freaking concrete.
So I mean, if we see Puerto Rico Flash, or even in OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling Flash, maybe I'll change my mind. But the Flash that we've been seeing, I don't think he's got a chance. I think Kevin Sullivan and Purple Haze has got Flash's number. I don't even know why Flash chose this match, because Flash is the one that actually asked for it, because Purple Haze and Kevin were supposed to be banned from SICW after that last match.
Well,
And
that
that's what
shows
I
you
was
the
going to.
motivation. That shows you the motivation Flash has to hurt Andrew Anderson, though. And that's got to be a factor taken in as well. How bad he wants to get some payback on him. That he got Herb to lift the band, bring them in, and put them inside of a cage.
And he repeatedly asked for it in the ring and outside of the ring.
All I know is we've had some classic cage matches in Belleville, and I don't think this one's going to let us down. You know, two on Purple Haze and one for Flash. I don't know how it's gonna go down. I just know if Flash gives it all and we see the old Flash, I don't think it's gonna matter how crazy Purple Haze gets. You know, we'll give it to Flash, but if it's the regular Flash that we've been seeing, I'm going with Purple Haze. You know, and it's just a win-win for us because even though we're wrestlers, we're fans too. So I mean, if they can pull off a hell of freaking cage match in one of the biggest venues that we offer, you know, the Belleville Fairgrounds. I mean,
And a ring.
hey, you know when it was those Attila and Prater versus Haku and the Barbarian, that was a big bloody cage match. And I will tell you, you know, the great thing about the fairgrounds is they'll cut the lights off and they'll just have those lights right above the ring shining. So I was able to sneak out and I watched that whole cage match. So even Wrestler Jim, as a fan, loved that match. And I'm sure Flash, regardless what Flash brings, um, it's going to be a great match. I just hope we see the Puerto Rico Flash back. Yes, I mean I'll go with that. But so anyway, it's an awesome card, and it's good. It's for a good cause. You know, Memorial Day weekend. You know, I know it's about our military. Um, you know, them fighting, giving their lives um, for the freedom we have. But we also have to think local. You know, the cops, the first responders, the firemen. You know, Memorial Day should be them too, because they definitely risk their lives to give us the freedom as well. So I definitely would recommend you guys, everyone out there, you know, come to the fairgrounds this Saturday. Again, it's June 3rd, um, and help this guy out because unfortunately, I think our system is a little whacked with the medical field. You know, $600 for a thing of aspirin, or you know, $1,200 because you used a bed is crazy. So anything that we can give this guy and help him pay off. So not
And to
only did
clarify,
he,
he had way more than that done.
I know. I'm just saying when it
Well, I'm
comes
just
like
for everybody watching. Like he racked up some bills. Like he had some major surgeries in there.
right,
And to be even more clear, it's not that he was shot with just a random weapon. He was shot with an AK-47, and he still has a broken wing that he has to have surgery on. So
yeah,
his road isn't over.
right, and that's that's the point I'm trying to get to. He is not okay right now financially, you know, and he took a bullet to help cap guy. So why make him go into debt and financially screwed because he took a bullet in the line of, you know, in duty? We should help this guy out. That's all I'm saying. We should all gather around, whether if you like the police, you don't like the police. This guy, you know, everyone who says I don't like the police, they say that until they need the fucking police. You know, once they need them, oh well, you know, they're my best friends. Well, you know how that goes. So, uh, great cause. We can help this guy out and reduce some of the stress that he's got on his plate, so, and his family's plate too. You know, because You hear the interview that me and Bobby heard a couple weeks ago from Herb Simmons talking to his wife. You know what kind of stress that gives to your spouses and stuff. So it's kind of crazy. But yeah, so you know what? I should have been doing this the whole time. So let's see here. You know, so Texan and Bobby D were basically going for Kevin Sullivan. You said Flash, right, Nate?
I did.
All right,
He's
so
been
that way we
asking
can come
for it.
back
He's
next
been
week.
asking for it for months. I don't think he's gonna let me down.
There you go. All right, Big Texan versus Joe Helms. Everyone chose Big Texan.
Yep.
It's in the
Yes, we
history.
did. Yes, we did.
Vincent versus Gary Jackson. I went Vincent. Bobby went Vincent. What'd you go, Nate?
I said Vincent will retain the title, but Gary will win the match. DQ, basic DQ. So probably Vincent then. I mean, in the end, if he retains his belt, he wins. So I
I
guess
have Kowalski versus Curtis. What
I
was
did as
yours?
well. I think Bobby,
You did
you
as
went with
well?
Curtis, didn't you, Bobby?
I went with Curtis. He's going to find a way.
He's a wild man.
Axe versus Joe Vanetti.
I think we all went with that. No, you went with
Nope.
Joey, and we went with that.
You're damn right. I'm sticking with my student.
He's a good guy, but I don't think he's ready.
Yeah, Joey's a real nice guy outside of the ring.
You guys are horrible. I hope Joey makes you eat your words.
That would be nice.
I think Axe is going to show him a little bit of that 80s smash style and just get it going.
Yeah.
All right, Glenn Williams versus Brandon Beretta. I think this is the one that we all chose Brandon Beretta on, right?
Yep, we do. And Bobby D against who are you wrestling, Bobby?
The intern.
intern.
I think we all
Intern.
chose the intern. Even Bobby chose the intern, right?
Not even a little bit.
I think we all went
All
with
right,
Bobby. Yeah.
so Nate chose the intern. I chose no. We all chose Bobby D. We gotta stick together. All right, we'll see how this turns out Saturday night. When we get back together, we'll determine on who the big loser is that night and who's the winner.
Well, we're all going to be together that night anyway, so we'll know right away. Whoever loses the most buys all the beers.
No, there you go.
You
Hey,
got to put something on it.
I tell you,
You know how many
my
beers that
favorite,
Jim can drink?
my favorite since swimming has drowned my brain.
Focus.
One
Focus.
of the best things about the Belleville Fairgrounds is right across the street before I make that right to go into the fairgrounds. I make a little left to a liquor store, and that's where I buy my Gentleman Jack. You know, Mr. Jack Daniels, if you'd love to sponsor us, I would have a bottle right here beside me because that is my favorite drink. But I always have that after a nice celebration victory win of the match, or you know, if we have someone cool in the house like Haku and them, anyone who will sit down at the table and drink with me. I normally have them sign the bottle and I date the bottle, so it's just another memory that I have. And you know, we did that when Haku came in. You know, anyone who knows, he went with Barbarian that night as well, but Barbarian doesn't drink anymore. He is sober, and I have mad respect for him because you know, he back in the day he was probably putting it down left and right.
I have a
But
funny
yeah,
Haku story from FanFest, though. When he was in the wrestler's room and I went in there to go get some things to come out. and I heel stomped his foot, but not on purpose. And I turn and look at him. I go, I just like, sorry, Aku, didn't mean it. He goes, didn't feel it. Don't worry about it.
I'm surprised you still have both your eyes. You know, you'll be able to scoop one of those eyes out and show it to you before you lose the blindness in it.
I don't know. Maybe he was scared of you. He goes,
No, I'm sure he wasn't. Well, it's been great catching up with you guys. I know we didn't meet up last week. We both, me and Bobby, had some things. Mainly me, I think. I was actually sick. That's what it was. See, it takes a little bit for the memory to kick in.
well, you were sick, and Bobby had, family event.
We'll go with that. I had some sort of throat issues. I got swabbed, and it was all cleared for COVID, all cleared for strep, but they just didn't know what the hell it was. Took days for it to clear up, and thank God I got rid of that, because when it first hit me, like that Friday and that Saturday of that weekend, it shut me down, and it was just a throat issue. I wasn't coughing, didn't have a lung problem. It was just all in the throat, but it just shut me down for 2 days. And then I started feeling better Sunday night, just a tad, and then Monday shot me down again. And I don't know, it was just, when your throat's screwed up, when you sleep, you never have a good sound sleep. So that Monday morning when I woke up again, it was like it never went in a good direction. But eventually, still taking all the meds, got it to clear up, and I feel great. I've been feeling great for the last few days now, so we'll just keep that going. Especially since I got a title to defend in less than a week. But yeah,
Take some
so sorry
Pedialyte,
guys if we
Gatorade,
didn't get.
whatever you need to take.
Yeah, like I said, people out there, sorry you didn't have an up-to-date episode. But I'm glad we got together now before Saturday to get this episode out there, so we can have our picks for that fan fest. I had just did a quick 20-second, just with a cheap phone, my phone, and just scanned the room, and it wasn't a steady scanning where you can visually see everything. It was just a whoop, and so many people liked and shared that thing. I mean, it was over $1,000 within just a couple of days, so it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, that fan fest was just off the chain, and I don't know how Herb is going to top it, but Herb and SICW is already talking about doing it again next year. So that is just awesome for us.
Yeah, the main room at the fairgrounds with air conditioning. And
You know,
more.
I don't know where it's going to be actually. It would be great if it was at the fairgrounds. I don't know if we can call it, the St. Louis Hall of Fame if it's not in St. Louis. I don't know how some people are touchy about that stuff. So it might still be in St. Louis, somewhere else in St. Louis. But
I would like it in St. Louis just so it, Bobby makes good points about that, and I agree completely. It should probably stay in St. Louis. Just not at the Aviator ever again.
Well, I tell you, when you get a bunch of wrestlers in a room, we're going to be loud. We're going to be drinking, and like that. Because I couldn't tell you how many times. I just won the championship that night, so I was going to be loud and proud. And they didn't like that fact. We got yelled at a couple of times from the front desk people. So maybe somewhere else. But
Maybe, hopefully.
it'd be great. if Herb can outdo this year, I don't know how he's going to do it. Having 50 guys, come in for Legends, especially the Calipero guys, the Stan Hansons, the JBL. I mean, JBL's speech that night was just crazy. He
And
let a lot out that most of the time you don't hear people say.
we will be posting that this week.
That would be great because Mac Davis and Teddy Long put out a short on that, so he didn't even play the whole speech, but it was off the chain. So if Herb can outdo it and bring the caliber of guys in like he did this year, it's just going to be great. Over 500 fans came to that, just to the Fan Fest part. And that's not including the ones that showed up for the wrestling show.
Over 500 more for the wrestling show.
That whole weekend was just crazy.
Yeah, you guys kicked ass. Can't say it any other way.
There we go.
And some square ring things that people have lasted this long in the podcast. We have been working behind the scenes to get more people to come on from other organizations, some females, some legends to come on. And we're just trying to finalize dates and schedules, and we have exciting things to come. And Jim has been approached from other organizations to have them to come on the podcast. So people are requesting to come on for us, even though we are still sub 200. So,
Well, the great thing about again, you can say it's not the quantity of our podcast or how many episodes, it's who it catches the eye of. And for other promoters wanting to get on, wanting to talk to us, that is just great for all the companies. So, whether you're in Arkansas or if you're in Tennessee, and you want to come on to ours, and then you want to take us to yours, if you want us on your cards, if you want, to try to come up here and get in somehow to some company, it's a great platform to meet people and pass that phone number around. Because when you first get into wrestling, you will wrestle as many places as you can, as often as you can, anywhere that you can, to get your name out there. Because if you stay in one spot, you are not going to be well known. You're not going to be seen. It takes you going beyond 25 miles to be able to be seen and picked up by the who's who that's trying to pick up people for the AEWs or the WWE or the Impact Wrestling. And you know what? Just on that, next week, June 10th, we have a scout for the WWE coming in. He's going to come in and just watch our show. He let it be known that he was going to be in the area and reached out to the Ace Academy. Some of the guys on there responded back, and they got me involved. I got Herb involved. It's all on the go. So this scout for the WWE is going to be there June 10th, watching our show, and you never know. One of our guys could be picked up, and it could be the last night you see him. So, come and support your wrestlers. Support all your independent wrestlers, because it means more to us when you're out at an independent show. We can actually come and shake your hand, give you that high five, write that autograph right in front of you. Your guys' support, the fans, the audience, even the guys who just let us put the posters in their stores. Your guys' support mean so much more to us, the local independent wrestlers, than, you know, WWE guys, you know, because they get paid by Vince regardless, you know, and a lot of them, you're talking about, I posted that thing about WrestleMania and how much it costs for their autographs, and it's just crazy, you know. I would never charge for my autograph. And your guys' support, just showing up to the show, cheering us on, you know, buying a T-shirt that actually helps us instead of helping a company or a corporation. Because when you buy a shirt, you know, nowadays from like, you know, Roman Reigns, you know, they get a set fee. You know, so they can honestly probably care less if they, because it's not like the olden days where Stone Cold was the #1 seller and was able to get a big portion of the merchandise sales. You know, now everyone's got a guaranteed contract when you reach that level. So it doesn't matter how many shirts you sell, you're still making your money. And I think we can get into this another time, but I think that's the downside to wrestling nowadays. Because back in like the Attitude Era, you had everyone fighting for the top slot. Everyone wanted their match to be great, because if they had a great match, they can move up in the card and earn more money. Nowadays, it's all guaranteed, so there's no, and you can go back and listen to Stone Cold talk, because he even brings this subject up before, where there's no one, and I think it was dealing with Dean Ambrose. So you can, you know, no one shooting to be the top dog. Where back then,
Just nobody wants to be top dog anymore. They just want to. We're there. We're making the money.
There's no desire. There's no desire to try anymore.
yeah. So anyway, you know, it's for this guy to come into town next weekend. Not this coming weekend, but on the June 10th. You know, you know, guys like me and Flat, Tilla, you know, we're not young enough nowadays to go to a WWE. But you know, guys, you know, like, you know, Bobby's still young enough. Brandon and Joe are still, you know, they're still green, so they can easily get pulled and molded, and you know, make it. So you know, just swing by, help cheer them on, give them the support. You know, you guys being there supporting them might be what gets them, you know, looked at. Like, man, this Joey Vanelli just went out there, and all he had to do was walk out there, and the whole crowd just popped for him. You know, that might be what it takes. Or, you know, if you give them, you know, a hell of a standing ovation because their match is awesome, you know, that could be what that guy looks for. So, you know, come out, you know, this Saturday, help support Sarge, help him. And then the following Saturday, come out, show your support for all ICW. And, you know, hopefully someone gets picked, because I know, you know, all of our matches, you know, all of our talent puts it in there. We try to have the best match, regardless of where you are on the placement of the card. And it just, I mean, great for all of us to have you guys' support. I mean, I think, you know, I think that's what helped me getting line for this, the classic title. Because whether I was under a hood or not, or switching back to the roots with the Texan, the fans cheered me on regardless. So like the powers that be in the promotion knew they had to give me a shot at some time for the title, because everyone kept asking for it. When is it going to be? When are you going to give Texan a shot? And that was even when I was in the mask. Back when guerrilla warfare didn't care about titles. We actually got paid. People might forget this, but we actually got paid and managed by Travis, the cook, for a while. And titles didn't mean anything to us, even though we held titles. Guerrilla warfare, because we're the first. Well, not the first, but we were one of the multi-state tag team champions, and we were actually MMWA / SICW tag team champions. Back when both companies worked together, we were the top dogs in the tag team. But like I said, I think it's the support of the fans, the support of the businesses. This fan fest, there's a lot of businesses that stepped up and paid for certain things. And then they actually came there and paid for booths to sell their whatever they had, whether it was toys or T-shirts or whatever. So they were able to make money as well. But it takes everyone. So I would like to. I appreciate the fans and appreciate these businesses for stepping in. You guys are great. So.
And then I'm going to go ahead and I think JBL's speech is a little more than a minute, so I can't put it in short, but I'll put it out there.
Yeah,
as a regular video, just because I thought it was funny as hell. The stories are just, and that's why I wanted to do this, is for the stories. I love the story.
Well, I tell you, Herb is a pretty humble man, and unless you were there, you didn't know about a award. So he got a lifetime achievement, 50 years in the wrestling business, and holding the wrestling at the Chase, heritage. But no one's posting about that, and Herb, he's not posting about it. So unless you were there, that's the only way that he won an award. So I say we put that out there that Herb won it, and you can't go wrong with who gave it to him, because Ted DiBiase is the one that talked. Him and Nick Ridenhour, I always butcher Nick's last name, but those two. I think it is Ridenhour. Those two were the ones that surprised Herb and gave him that award. So I think that needs its own separate little clip to put that out there, because Herb's not going to do it, just because it's about him, so he ain't going to do it. It's a great show tonight. It was great meeting back up with you two guys after last week, and can't wait to see whose prediction is right and whose is wrong.
Well, mine, of course, is right.
We'll see. But I think I'll just do it for everyone at the Squared Ring Podcast. I'm Big Texan. On the left, at least on my left, is Nate Dogg, and then Bobby D. For all of us, I'd like to say thank you for showing up. Thank you for subscribing, because we've seen subscribers. But continue to share, like, comment, and get your friends to subscribe and tell us what you want. We'll try to make it happen. But for everyone, I would say peace. Thank you for showing up. Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys. See ya.